Welcome to your nervous system. Notice where you might be. My clients and I have been doing this for years, but this is the one I just made recently. Where are you? This is not happyville, not necessarily at all. This is more grounded. This is this feeling more baseline. This is how I feel after I watch the news. Yeah, and maybe after a lot of stress has been in the air, essentially. But if we're constantly functioning up here, our nervous systems are jacked up, okay? If you get rid of the stressor, you turn the news off, you turn on the paper, you pay the bill, you're still gonna be stuck up here because your body doesn't know the difference. And so for us to be able to manage our emotions, to feel a little bit more in control and manage the stress that's in our lives, we have got to learn how to regulate. And I would also like to say down-regulate the intensity that these things have in our lives. So while we cannot control everything in our lives, if anything at all, we can start to do things in actionable ways to reduce our stress so we don't feel like a hot mess. And what I mean by this is, okay, so let's say you're at a low-key 6, 7, and then all of a sudden you get cut off and you're like at a 10, and you're on the road and you're really pissed off. You might be more clumsy. You might be more likely to have a panic attack. You might also be more likely to make a decision that may not serve you. Let's say your friend calls you and you're like, and you're now transferring that energy onto them. So when we are noticing where we are and we can do something about it, maybe you take a few deep breaths when you get cut off, you try and feel gratitude for not getting in an accident, and maybe understand that that person could just not be aware, or we find a more neutral response. Maybe they're going to the hospital, who knows? Seriously, I always do that. I always try to be like, well, maybe they're in a rush, because I don't want to put out more negative energy and I don't want to jack up my already dysregulated nervous system, because then what's going to happen? I'm not going to make smart decisions. So I say this because I want you to make smart decisions and feel in control of your mind. When you've got so much stress on your plate, it's hard to actually do things that feel good. You're constantly checking online to try and feel good, but we're not getting rid of stress. We're actually adding more. We're consuming more things that stress us out. When you're trying to avoid with food, alcohol, or with TV, does that work? Or does it make you feel more dysregulated? Ask yourself that question. The more we consume of stuff that's not serving us, the more likely it's hurting us. Yes, that's true, because it's not getting to what? A more regulated state. So instead of picking up your phone and scrolling through every account that makes you feel insecure, I'm gonna encourage you to take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And do it again, and maybe on your next inhale out of your mouth, do it a little bit longer. This is so simple, guys. It is so simple, yet we rarely do it because we're not reminded to. So right now, or after you're done watching this, in your phone, you can put a reminder to start breathing more, maybe an alarm even. Here's why. Every time we do that, we are downgrading the stress response. Even if your thoughts are still hyper-focused on the person that cut you off or the email that just came in, by practicing purposeful breath or by practicing avoidance in a healthy way with distract skills, which is in another video, I think it's that way on my IGTV, you are doing things to down-regulate your nervous system and attack the stress cycle in a healthy way. A couple other things you can do are to get regulated through books. No, you don't have to read a book. Your brain's not gonna be able to take in any information if you're that jacked up. Seriously. You can't do this in your car necessarily, but you can focus on the steering wheel. You can focus on your feet. You can focus on how you're feeling. You can get grounded in the car. But let's say that you're sitting there and you're feeling anxious because you were just watching the news. So pace it out, walk it out, do what you need to do to get it out. Take some breaths, recognize where you are on this thing and where you wanna be. You can take these books, you can take something heavy, and you can just notice how it feels when you connect yourself to your surroundings and get more grounded. These techniques are invaluable, and they're scientifically proven to help you regulate your nervous system. So if you want the resources or the research, Google it or ask me, DM me. My goal for you guys is to show up for yourselves and the world by doing what? Getting more regulated. Good luck. Let me know how this helps you, and let's get into a great place so we can serve at our highest good. Cool.